Welcome in, everybody, to Betting Pros. It's time to place your bets. It is me, Joey P. Joe Pizzapia. With me is my boy Derrick Brown, D-Bro, the king of bros. And tonight is Thursday Night Football. And you know what that means? Underwhelming totals. No, but in all seriousness, what it means is we've got the Green Bay Packers looking for their second win in a row. We shall see against the Tennessee Titans, the ugly of football. That's right. This is the team that drags you down to their level, makes you play ugly football. Afterwards, you say to yourself, what just happened? Oh, we lost to the Titans. That's what happened. So D-Bro and I are going to talk about the game, a couple props, a couple other things too. Derrick Brown, before you even get to the totals on this game, when you see this game on the slate, what's the first thing that comes to mind for you?
Christian Watson.
Christian Watson. Why? Because what we saw can never get any better than it possibly could after last week, or because you think this is the beginning of something beautiful?
I think it's the beginning of something beautiful. I think it's wonderful. Christian Watson, I think, is honestly the skeleton key for the Packers offense, Joe.
I think he's going to be an underwhelming under tonight. Boy, oh boy, this is going to be a fun show. I cannot wait. Let's go. Let's jump right in here and let's start with the lines. The Tennessee Titans are 3.5 point underdogs in this game, and I scratch my head trying to wonder why that is, because I can't get. Look, Dak Prescott handed the game on a silver platter to the Green Bay Packers last weekend. Handed it to him, said here, and it still took him going overtime to win anyway. I am in on the Titan side. I already bet this side. I waited for it to get to 3.5. And by golly, I got it at 3.5. So I am in. Let's go. In fact, if you like them to win outright, you're getting plus 148. Not bad. Not as good as our earlier Monday night, where we absolutely just murdered and crushed the Washington Commanders call. Made a lot of money on that. The under on Curtis Samuel. So we are on fire. In fact, even last Thursday, the Carolina Panthers upset we were on as well. Sir. So this is another upset, but I'll just come out and say it. I think the wrong team's favored in this game, period, end of story. Okay. I don't buy into the offensive line of the Green Bay Packers. Devondre Campbell is out still. I don't think this defense is any good. I think Dak made some mistakes. They took advantage of those mistakes, and that's the ball game. Guess what? The Titans don't make mistakes because they don't do anything. They just sit there and run the football, and then they come after you and hit you, and that's it. So I'm in on the Titans. Titans to win outright is fine. I prefer the 3.5, though. I think it's a little safer, so let's just do that because it is a road game anyway. Derrick Brown, what are your thoughts on that, and what are your thoughts on the 41, which is the total tonight?
I'm staying away from the total because both these teams are extremely slow.
I concur.
But maybe I'm just taking the chalk pick here, Joe. I'm on the Green Bay side. I think Green Bay covers. I think that if you're looking at this Tennessee Titans defense gets a lot of props for the pressure they bring, and I'm not saying that they're not good at that, like they're top 10 in pressure, but the Packers are top 12 in pressure as well. And the Packers are quietly third in blitz rate right now. So I think that it's going to be a rough night for Tannehill because the receiving weapons are not there. Treylon Burks is still not the number one in this passing attack. I'm sorry, Westbrook-Ikhine is not that dude, and Robert Woods is a better real-life locker room presence than he is anything on the NFL field. So I think the Packers win this game, and I think it's going to be I think they're going to stack back-to-back good games on offense. I do, and that's not necessarily the ground game. We'll kind of get to that, but I think Aaron Rodgers has a good game this week.
All right, so we are on opposite ends of this spectrum. Aaron Rodgers and LaFleur are still arguing with each other, so I'm not buying any of this kumbaya nonsense off one win. Sorry, not buying it. I've watched the Packers all year. I've watched them lose to the Commanders. I've watched them lose to pretty much everybody because they stink. They're not very good. But I will say this. It was good to see Christian Watson emerge. That's a fun thing. I think they're going to go right back to Allen Lazard, though, because now that Trayvon Diggs isn't guarding you, I think Allen Lazard will be freed up again. So therefore, I'm looking at Lazard. That's one of the first spots I'm looking at. But we're going to get to some of the props here. And D-Bro wants to start with Christian Watson. 4.5 receptions, plus 136 at FanDuel. What do you like here? You like the over?
I like the over. I mean, you're getting plus money on the receptions over. He caught 4 balls last week. He got 8 targets. And yeah, I understand that Lazard was held up by Trayvon Diggs. He shadowed him on 63% of his routes. Christian Fulton, I'm projecting, at least the last time that I looked through practice reports, I think he plays. I think it's possible that Christian Fulton shadows Allen Lazard. At least it's probable in this game. He's done it twice this year. He's really, really good in shadow coverage. So I think there's a lot of different ways to attack this. I think that the way that the Packers move the ball is going to be through the air, because Tennessee's run defense is elite. And I think that it's possible that Fulton follows Lazard. And if that happens, both of those things that happen, I think Lazard could have a good game here, but I think both of those things lead me to the over for the receptions.
Well, I like over, but I like the over on Allen Lazard instead. For the receiving yards, 48.5. The projections are over that. He goes over this most of the time. FanDuel, you get this at minus 110. Is it the greatest number? No, but it's fair. I like it. This is where I'm going. We're going right back to the Allen Lazard well. If you want to couple it with the plus 136, you're getting on the 4.5 receptions over. Go ahead. Go with the Allen Lazard narrative. I'm not going to buy into the Christian Watson one-off. That's what I'm calling it. The Watson off. The Watson one-off. That's it. We're coining a phrase here.
The disrespect.
That's fine. He dropped all those balls in college too. I saw the tape. Let's go to Derrick Henry, which is what this game is really all about. Derrick Henry, 22.5 rush attempts. You like the over, which you can get at minus 110 at DK. So let's talk about that one.
I mean, they're going to feed Derrick Henry versus one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. We haven't seen Derrick Henry, get like insane usage for most of the season as far as like they're not running him into the ground. But if you look at Derrick Henry, our projections are a shade lower than this, but 4 of his last 6 games, he's hit the over. And I think that we're looking at over the back half of the season, they were a little bit light on giving the big fella volume to open the season. Like you're looking at carry totals of 21, 13, 20. But over the last few games, it's been rising, Joe. 22, 28, 30, 32 before they dipped in the last 2 weeks. So yeah, I'll take the over here. And you can actually, so the lines are a little bit different at a few different places. You can get minus 105 for over 22.5. And I think we're splitting hairs here because I think that if he hits the over, you're looking at he's going to get like 25, 20, close to 30 carries in this game. So I don't mind
looking at the rushing yards too. I mean, 114, 102, 128, 219, 115. Then last week against Denver, just 53.
So he's not going to hit the over, but he's going to get less than 20 carries. That's what I don't understand as far as looking at the lines.
You're probably right. I mean, once again, this is kind of like the Lazard thing. And just like you write the narrative here, which is you pick the two things like Lazard for me, Derrick Henry's a thing. Those are things that are investable. 105.5 is the number. I like the over on that because that's what everything's been telling us with Derrick Henry all season long is not a difficult one for him to get. So this is Derrick Henry season. It's the end of the year. Defenses get tired. The heart and soul of this defense isn't there anymore. It's Rashawn Gary. He's gone. So Campbell's not playing. So sorry, color me unimpressed by the Green Bay Packers defense. I don't care if they made some plays last week. I ain't buying it. I'm not into it. Derek Brown, here you go. Aaron Rodgers, 237.5 passing yards, minus 110 at FanDuel on the over, and that's another one that you've pinpointed.
I mean, yeah, I'll happily take it. I think that if you're looking and projecting how and the story that you tell about how this game goes, it's okay. Tennessee's going to run the ball a ton, and the Packers are going to have to win and survive by throwing the ball. So you ladder a lot of these things together. You take the over for the Lazard receptions if you want to go that route, to pair that with the over for Watson, and we're just playing that Aaron Rodgers just throws the ball a ton. So yeah, I'll happily take the over 237.5 because I mean, even at minus 110 on FanDuel, I think it's fine.
All right, let's talk about Tannehill. Over 0.5 interceptions. You get plus 102. You get plus money at Unibet, even money at DK and BetMGM as well. So Tannehill typically good for a turnover somewhere in there. So I like this one. You're in on this one as well, correct?
Yeah, I'm in on this one. We bet the interception prop for Marcus Mariota on last Thursday. That turned out well. We're going to go back to the well. If you can give me plus money on an interception prop for a player that is going to face a secondary that is not bad, I mean, you can have them in the slot. That's fine. But I'm not betting any kind of overs for Westbrook or Keeney. Good Lord. Have you seen the juice on those, Joe? Like minus 200 on his over for reception props? No, thank you. So I'll happily take the over for interceptions at plus money for Tannehill because I think, he can easily throw a pick if, especially the Packers pass rush gets home. He's thrown interceptions in 2 of the last 5 games. In week 2, it was a multi-interception game. So our projections actually have him at 0.9. So Betting Pros likes the over as well.
There you have it. Another thing we always like to do, Bogman, I always like to throw some defensive ones at you. You got Jaron Reed and Preston Smith to record a sack. Reed at plus 270 on FanDuel, Preston Smith at plus 190 for the yes.
I like it.
So, I mean, you could throw a little coin on each, $10 on each of those and see which comes up. And if both come up, then you're doing a little dance. Then you're very excited about that. Let's get to the last one you have on the board here. And that's Watson for the 41.5 receiving yards, minus 110 on FanDuel. So your thoughts are this is an over as well, correct?
Yes. My thoughts are this is an over. Our projections don't line up with my thoughts, but the thing that I want to throw out here about this one, Joe, is the line has been bet up. It opened at 35.5. Most places it is crested to the consensus is all over the map, Joe, depending on how high people are betting it. Like Caesars, I would not touch this line. It's 46.5. And this is not that because I don't think that he can't hit the over with that. But if you go to like FanDuel has him at 41.5. You have a lot of other books that are not bet up that high. Like Unibet has him at 42.5. So I think it's just shopping lines. We always tell people, it looks like DK pulled it actually. It's all about shopping lines. And so you can head over to FanDuel Sportsbook. It's at 41.5. And all the other books have it up at 42.5 and as high as 46.5 at Caesars.
Here's a fun one here for Big Ben, who always watches the show here. Joe finally talked me out of doing high odds 3 to 5 leg parlays. You're welcome, Big Ben. Making money, but I missed the rush. I understand you missed the rush, but don't you like making money more? Isn't it better to bet a little harder on the things we like and you miss the rush? If you want a rush, here you go. I'm going to give you one because I just did this before the show. You go take $500 if you got it or whatever you got, $50, doesn't matter. Here's your parlay if you want. You go bet Mahomes for MVP. You go bet Micah Parsons for Defensive Player of the Year, Sauce Gardner for Defensive Rookie of the Year, and AP Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year, Justin Jefferson. You do that right now. You put $1,000 on that, you'll win $13,000. Okay? There you go. Have some fun with that because that's a pretty good situation right now. Two of them are already in the minus. Mahomes is trending in that direction already. We have Jefferson just flew right by Tyreek Hill after last week's game. There's your parlay to make some money. Okay. And I suggest Derrick Brown do that too, because I've already made that investment. You can put 500, you win $7,000 on that. If you put 500 on that bad boy.
I'm going to go bet it right after the show.
And do it on FanDuel because then they entice you to sometimes check out of it and buy out of it if you want at some point, if you're not feeling it. So, and I just basically took money that I won in Justin Verlander at Cy Young at 25-1 and again at 7-1 and again at 4-1 and all that Justin Verlander money. And I took half of it and I just reinvested it. And that's how you do the parlays, my friend.
And the other thing about this is there's so many good offers for books. So also like shopping and saying, okay, I've been signed up at DK. I haven't signed up at FanDuel. What kind of offers can I get? So you go to Betting Pros and say, go to our offers page and say, okay, what kind of beautiful, lovely free money? Because they offer you risk-free bets on a lot of different platforms. So
don't muck around. Don't muck around with Rookie of the Year yet because you can't put that into it. Don't muck around with Comeback Player of the Year because it's all over the board. Geno Smith is the freaking one right now. I don't know why. What's he coming back from? Being terrible? I don't know. But Saquon Barkley is another one too that's on there too. But keep it simple. There are two things that are already in the low minus. I don't see anybody touching Sauce. I don't see anybody touching Micah Parsons this year. And Mahomes, I'm telling, like Mahomes already had investment. I only invested in two guys at MVP, Mahomes and Josh Allen. I took the Josh Allen money out last week because that's one too many losses. And as I'm concerned, plus the injury, that's no bueno for me. I reinvested that into Mahomes. And guess what? I already had Mahomes at 7-1 or 7 or 8-1 to start the year anyway. And now there's another way to build on that. You take your money out of stuff that's not working. I still made money on Josh Allen because I got Josh Allen at 7-1.
Yeah, just take that out.
Right. You take the extra money you made on that. You reinvest it into what's working. Tua is not catching him. Jalen Hurts, as soon as Jalen Hurts lost that game on Monday night,
he was going to fall off. And
Mahomes became plus 125.
The thing about it too is that people need to understand the MVP is a quarterback award, so you only bet the quarterbacks. And then you're looking at sometimes if you go peek at the Super Bowl odds and say who is the favorite for the Super Bowl, and then you go back to the MVP and say, okay, which quarterback can make it to the Super Bowl on either side of the for either conference, and that's where you kind of chase the MVP odds as they kind of fluctuate throughout the year. So that's how I approach the MVP discussion.
So just to recap, everybody, Debro loves Christian Watson. I'm on Lazard instead. I'm on the Titans.
Both.
You like the Packers. You say tomato. I say tomato. So we're just going to call the whole thing off. We'll see who's right at the end of the day, or the end of the evening, I should say. So I hope everybody goes out there and enjoys Thursday Night Football. Don't forget to subscribe to Betting Pros YouTube channel too. All the great content on there. Go check out bettingpros.com where you get the prop bet cheat sheet as well. That'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For D-Bro, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.